super plan one or anything, but I hadn't done my tip, so I've had a few drinks and I thought, yeah, maybe as well just do a little bit of a live stream here. You know, I've been having my beers, got my beers here. I've got a shot of Fireball here to have at the end of it, but I've got my big league here as well. I'm going to be doing the tips for all 8 games. I'm a bit of a, I've had a haircut. I've also, had a bit of a 7 from 8 last week, so I feel like a whole new person. So I'm a bit of a tipping god at the moment. Well, if going off last week, I probably wouldn't go off last week, to be honest. I'd probably say not very good for the most part. But last week it was a very, very good week. But it was it was a little bit of a. I wouldn't say it's a common theme for me. It's a bit of a shit one. But round 8 is here. First game is obviously tonight. Just need to load up, well, not load up, but find the stuff in the big league. So the first game we have is the Rabbitohs against the Broncos. So this is obviously a big one. We have Wayne Bennett up against his old club, Seaboard up against his old club. Both coaches did a swap of teams. Going into this game, obviously, Rabbitohs have been going pretty well, but also the Broncos got a good win last week, so they finally hit a little bit of form, you would think. Going into the game, immediately I'm saying, like, Rabbitohs are the better team. They probably should win. However, you just never know. And, like, the Broncos, they're so hot and cold. Like, with the players they've got and with this new unproven halfback, I think he's Dearden, I think his name, we don't know how he's going to go. He could come in and kill it for all we know. But I think your safe bet is to go with the Rabbitohs. I think Bennett will have them up for it. I think the Broncos will be up for it. I think it'll be a very, very good game. I think this is match of the round, to be honest. First game on Thursday is match of the round. But if I had to pick a winner, I am going to pick a winner. I'm going to go the Rabbitohs. I'm going to go them 1-12. I think it'll be a tight one. On to the second game. I see a lot of guys in here. Bit of mixed opinions in the comments. But moving on to the second game. It's another big game. It's a Queensland derby, this one. We have the North Queensland Cowboys taking on the Gold Coast Titans. Now, this one in previous years, you think, yeah, Cowboys, pretty good. Titans have been okay. Pretty good game. I don't think so this week or this year. Just, I don't know. Both teams aren't very good. I mean, obviously, the Bulldogs beat the Cowboys last week. That says it all about the Cowboys. Titans also getting beat. They did start off pretty strong, apparently, against the Knights. I didn't see the game, but I know they had a pretty decent lead. They failed to score after like 20 minutes into the game. So for 60 minutes, they didn't really do anything. It was all one way to the Tigers, but they did have a decent start. Is that all they're going to need to do to beat the Cowboys? I'm not exactly sure. What do you guys think? I can see in the comments here, a lot of people saying Cowboys, the Spoon Bowl. Yeah, it's probably not far off it, to be honest. I do think the Cowboys will win just because it's a home game for the Cowboys. Maybe Taumalolo will play. He was named last week and didn't play. Is he named this week? No, he's not named this week. He's named on the extended bench, number 20. So maybe he's a chance of playing. If he plays, 100% they win. But I do think they'll still have enough to beat the Titans. Although, you never know with the Titans. They're a side that should be able to put it together. They should be doing a lot better than what they are. So, I don't know. On to the third game, on to Friday night. We have the Sharks taking on the Melbourne Storm. A grand final rematch from 2016 or 2015? 2016. So the Sharks, I don't like their team at all at the moment. That's just due to injuries. It's not particularly because of their team. Like, I think going into the season, they had a pretty strong team. The Storm, as of late, have not been very good, in my opinion. They've kind of been coasting. They've been pretty fortunate to win. They're very fortunate to win last week. Pretty fortunate to win against the Bulldogs as well. And obviously, they lost to the Roosters. So, yeah, the Sharks, I think, are in with a chance. I know they've got a lot of injuries, but they're sort of that tough, gritty side. I think Nakora's back. Is Nakora back? Yes, he's back. I think it'll be a pretty competitive game, in my opinion, just because the Storm have been a bit off. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Sharks win this because they usually step up against the Storm. But I think your safe money is on the Storm. I'll go 1-12. Also, I didn't say in the last one. I think the Cowboys. I think they'll win 1-12 as well. Moving on to the Canberra Raiders and the Penrith Panthers. Now, I think this will be a very, very good game. I think this is a game that has players like teams of similar ability. I think the Panthers, although they haven't got many wins this year, they're not that far off. They've got a half-decent team, got pretty good halves in that. I think Cleary and Maloney will have a lot to play for, a lot of pressure on them. So in one instance, it could say that they will step up. Another also says they might crumble under the pressure. Maloney's not very known for it. Cleary isn't really known for it either, but you never know. The Raiders, on the other hand, they didn't get the job done last week, but I do think they have a pretty good team. They're in front of the home crowd. They've been very, very good in front of the Canberra, faithful. So I'm expecting a Raiders win here. The Panthers have a lot to play for, like I said, but I just think Canberra being at home, I think it'll be a little bit too much for Penrith. So I'm going to go Raiders. I'm going to go them 1-12. I think Josh Hodgson will be a standout. On to the next game, we have Manly taking on my Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Now, I'm really excited for this game. Obviously, Des Hasler up against the Bulldogs. It's going to be a really good game, in my opinion. Maybe not in the sense of actual football ability, but just in the sense that, like, obviously, Hasler up against his old team. I think there'll be a lot of intensity in this game. A lot of players from Hasler's time aren't really at the club, which is, I don't know, it'd be interesting. But yeah, Manly, they have been in some pretty good form. Obviously, been on, getting the wins, getting the job done. Cherry Evans, not there this week though. They've learned to deal with Trebojevic being out, and I actually think Brendan Elliott, he's actually been doing a half decent job. But Cherry Evans as well, adding Cherry Evans and Trebojevic, I think will be a little bit too much. And although the Bulldogs aren't they're not one of the top teams by any means. Probably you can argue they're the favourites for the wooden spoon. In fact, the betting agencies have them favourite to be the wooden spoon. But I think with the Bulldogs' effort, I think they'll have enough to beat this Manly side, even at Brookvale. We have a pretty good record at Brookvale. So there's a little bit of bias here, a lot of bias probably, but I'm going to say the Bulldogs are going to win. I'm going to say 1-12. I do think it'll be a pretty gritty game. I think Manly will definitely be in the game, but I think the Bulldogs will come out on top in the end. And I don't know if I know Dylan Napper's playing. I don't think Kieran Foran will play, but apparently Dylan Napper is playing. So yeah, I think the 4-pack will just get the job done for the Bulldogs. Moving on to the next game, we're on Saturday. We have the Sydney Roosters taking on the West Tigers. I believe Manly game was on Saturday too. Yeah, it was on Saturday. But we have the Sydney Roosters and the West Tigers. I think this should be an easy win for the Roosters. Tigers aren't very good. Obviously, Josh Reynolds getting injured as well. Benji Marshall coming straight back into that 5'8" position. They've been playing okay, the Tigers. Obviously, I think they got the win last week in Tamworth. But, I mean, the Roosters, they're just next level. I mean, I'll back anybody. I'll back the Roosters against anybody at this stage. Like, the Storm was the hardest test for them, and they got the job done. Got out to that huge lead. Obviously, Storm come back, but they still got the win. And they're pretty much at full strength as far as I'm looking at their team, apart from Jake Friend. But Mitton Radley is a great replacement. And Hooker, you can argue he's just as good as Jake Friend at this point. But yeah, Tedesco's in too good form. Latrell Mitchell's starting to find a little bit of form. I just think Kiri and Cronk, they're just too good. Their 4-pack's too good. Everything about the Roosters team is just too bloody good. It's unfair. It's really unfair. So I'm going to go the Roosters 13+. It's not a knock on the Tigers. It's just the Roosters are just that bloody good. I'll say 13+ to nearly any team the Roosters are against, except the Bulldogs. Obviously, the Bulldogs would win. On to the next game, we have the New Zealand Warriors taking on the Newcastle Knights. I think this should be a pretty good game. Should be a pretty entertaining game. The Warriors really, really surprised me last week. I'll be honest, I put a bet on the Storm to win 13+, first try score, first everything. Well, the Warriors, they completely ruined my bet within the first 5 minutes or whatever. They come out and they really gave it to the Storm. And they probably should have won. I mean, the referees come out and said that they even stuffed up in terms of the final penalty, which cost them the game in the end. So you can argue that they should have won that game. I think I'm not going to go as far as to say the better team lost, because I mean I don't really believe in that. But at the same time, Warriors are bloody good, and you add in that Isaac Luke, he missed the last 20 minutes or so, I think it was. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck was out. That was why I put the bet on. Just the side, you look on paper, the Warriors side had no way, like there was no way they should have been in that game. Storm should have been up. They should have won by 50. I saw some people think the NRL, in my opinion, said you're gonna make a bold prediction, they're gonna lose by 60. Well, bloody hell, Warriors came out and proved me wrong, proved everybody wrong, and they gave it to the Storm. The Knights, on the other hand, also did the same thing. They gave it to the Eels. They gave the Eels not a bit of hiding, but they definitely were the better team. Callum Ponga back to his best. What was really interesting for the Knights was that Mitchell Pearce is back to his best, and I think that's the main thing. Mitchell Pearce is not being good, and when your halfback's not in form, your team's not really going to be going good. So I think the Knights definitely. I think if I had to, it's a hard one because it's in New Zealand. I'm gonna say the Knights. I'm gonna say the Knights 1-12. It's not a confident tip, but I think definitely the Knights on paper have the better team, but obviously, I mean, the Storm had the better team on paper last week, and the Warriors should have won that one. But yeah, this Raj Tulvas-Shek, I can see him putting in a shift and them playing very well. A lot of sort of not controversy, but a lot of talk around the Warriors with the whole Nicarima stuff. So who knows? Maybe Harris DeVito and Blake Graham will come out and play a blinder. The more I talk about it, the more I'm thinking of switching to the Warriors. But you know, I'm going to stick solid. I'm going to go Knights 1-12. So let's move on. Is this the last game? Yes, it is the last game of the round. On Sunday, we have the Parramatta Eels up against the St. George Illawarra Dragons. So the Para Eels, they've actually been playing pretty good, however, didn't get the job done last week. So, yeah, a bit unlucky for the Eels. They did have a little bit of a comeback, but the Dragons, they are up against the Roosters. I just talked about how the Roosters, I'd back anybody, like, whoever the Roosters are up against, I'm tipping the Roosters. It doesn't matter who. It could be the ultimate dream team. Golden State Warriors. I don't care. I'm taking the Roosters. They're that bloody good. And the Dragons, they actually put up a very, very good effort. I said last week I thought they'd be in the contest, and that they were. Matt Duffy at fullback. I'll be honest, I never really rated Matt Duffy, but they've had a significant improvement since he's gone back to fullback. Whether that's due to him, whether that's due to just them sorting out the halves, and I don't know exactly why, but they're playing a lot better. They finally found a little bit of form there. In terms of looking at the side here, Blake Ferguson was a bit of a non-factor last week. I think he'll definitely be a factor this week. Looking at the side, it's hard to go against the Eels at home, especially with how they played last time they played at home, like 51 points or whatever it was, 51-6 against the Tigers. Tigers are no slouches, they're not the best, but I definitely think the Eels. The more I talk, the more I'm thinking no. You know, I'm going to go the Eels. I just think their backline will eat up the Dragons, to be honest. Zach Lomax in the centres hasn't played that much. Ravalawa back on the wing. I'm not sure he knows too much. The Jordan Pereira, I just think Takarini Ferguson, Sevo Jennings, I think they'll have too much, and I think the Eels will win this one. I'm going to go 1-12 because I think the Dragons are the sort of team that can stay in the contest. Their side, I don't think you're going to see the Dragons get blown out too much. I think they're going to be well within the contest, but I don't think they're going to get the job done. And like I said, Eels 1-12. So guys, that's where I'm going to end the video. I do have a shot, like I said here. I haven't actually tried this before. Fireball. We'll give it a go. We've got a SpongeBob thing here. This could be quite funny. I don't even know how to end the live stream, to be honest with you. Oh yeah, there's an X button there. Rightio. So yeah, here we go, guys. I can see the comments there. I couldn't really respond because I'm leaving it as a YouTube video in the end. So guys, let's have it. This is just a straight up shot. Let's go. Very cinnamony, and there is the fire. Okay, definitely see why it's Fireball. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, leave in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on this round of footy? Who do you think is gonna win? Also, make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. It's Mr. Luke and YT. It's very hard to talk right now. But yeah, I'm going out tonight. Going to the Holy Moly. Going to play some mini golf and hopefully watch a little bit of footy as well. So guys, have a good night. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.